Hello everyone, welcome to the new video of Arduino using the Blockzie software. In this video, we will see the plain blocks category of a microcontroller, my Arduino Uno in our Blockzie software. In this tutorial, we are going to learn different blocks of a pin available for a programming of Arduino via Blockzie software. We will also learn some example of these blocks. So here we will see that basically microcontroller have some specific pins and how can we implement the programming of these pins using a Blockzy software. And we will see some pin configuration and how can we use the pins by using a block codes. In this video, we will see the introduction of pin blocks petals and the use of it. Let's see an introduction. In this tutorial, we will learn different blocks of a pin available for a programming of Arduino via Blockzy software. We will also see some examples of these blocks. Here in the right side of your screen, you can see the some examples pins, which is a set pin 0 mode input. Basically, these pins are operate as we can implement it. Let's have one LED example. We can use this LED example usually in every programming. The LED is basically a output device for Arduino microcontroller board. Let's assume the if we connect our LED to the digital pin 3. So the here we will set our digital pin 3 as an output. So here we select our pin configuration which is connected to our LED, which is pin number 3, and the mode of that pin number 3 is a output because LED is a output device for our microcontroller board. And same as whenever we need to on that LED, then we will use this set digital pin. Here we will select pin number 3, output as a high. Then the microcontroller will give a high configuration to our LED, which is connected to pin number 3. So it means our LED will be on. And whenever we need to turn off our LED, then we will adjust this block as a low. So same as a PWM pin and analog pin also. Pin blocks. So, pin blocks, uh, this is when you see in a C language, we need to uh, separate our code into two modes, which first mode is a setup and another one is a loop portion of the C language programming. So in setup portion of the programming, we need to set up that pin which we are using in our microcontroller board. So here this block is work as a pin mode. Basically this pin mode and in bracket pin and mode, as I mentioned previously, the with the example of LED. So uh, here it's a C language command, pin mode in bracket pin and mode. So in place of a pin, we will write a digital pin 3, and in mode we will write output. But by using this Blockzy software, we don't need to write this command, this C language command. We have automatically or ready-made block, which is a set pin 0 and mode of the that pin. We need to select this mode of the pin, which is a input or maybe output. So this block is used to declare which input or output pins you are using, and three type of mode that can be assigned using this block and are named as a output, input, and input pull. So as a output, uh, As we take an example of a LED, so LED is basically an output device for a microcontroller unit, and as an input, if we connect our keyboard. So keyboard is basically a input device for a microcontroller. We have to press that number on a keyboard, or 1 or 2 or 0 to 9. So uh, it will give an input to the microcontroller board. So here, as I mentioned, we need to set the pin and the mode of that pin. Same as a digital write. So in C language, we will see a digital write pin and the value of we need to write on that digital pin. So this function is basically, this command is basically written in a C language where we need to where we use a C language rather than a block code. So in place of that C language command, we are using here a set digital pin 0 out high. Yes, this feature is available in a Blockzie software where we need to write a program according to our microcontroller features or microcontroller application. So this block is used to set the value of a pin as a high or low. So first of all, we need to understand that a digital pin or a digital device is work on a two mode, which is a high and a low. High means it will give the voltage, or low means it will connected to a remains connected to a ground. So whenever we declare that pin as a high, for example, if the LED is declared as a digital pin 3 output as a high, it means the LED will turn on. And if we declare the digital pin number 3 as a output as a low, then it means the LED will turn off. Let's move forward with the analog pins. So it write as a PWM value or analog value to a pin. We can light an LED with a varying brightness with the help of the block. It's also used to drive a motor at varying speed. PWM pins are present on every Arduino board. So whenever we need to write uh, wherever we need to write any analog value, we can use this PWM pin. For example, if we need to run our motor as a on a 50 speed, 50 RPM speed, we need to connect our motor on a PWM pin and use these blocks as a set PWM pin mentioned with the when we connect it to our motor and give output value as a 50, then the motor will be uh, run on a 50 speed. So here we can write any analog value by using this kind of a block. And this analog write pin and value function are actually available in C language. But here we have a feature of a block code. In a block code, we have a feature that we can write our commands or our blocks easily. And we can write our analog value very easily. We just need to mention that pin and the value which we can want to write. Next is a digital read. Whenever we need to read our value, the read our device value, which we can which we are connected to a digital pin of a microcontroller board, we can use this read digital pin, and we have to mention that pin that the device is actually connected, and we want to read the value of that device. This function read a digital value from a pin, and pin is the number of the digital input output pins you want to read. This function return one of two values. As I mentioned previously, digital scenario is basically work on the two modes. So, the one is a high and another one is a low. We don't receive any analog values or 1 to 5 or a 5, 1 to 10. We don't have that analog values. The analog values is basically from a certain value to a certain high peak value, and then go to the certain down value. But in a digital pin, we just have a two type of a scenario. One is a high and one is a low. In other words, we can say one is a 0 and another one is a 1. So whenever we need to read some digital data, we need to use this function in C language, which is a digital read, and mention that pin. But here we have some additional feature in a block code of a Blockzie software. We just need to pull that block and place it wherever whenever we need to write whenever we need to read our digital pin. Let's see a same as a analog read pin. So basically, uh, this command is actually used in a C language. So whenever we use our C language programming, we need to write an analog read for command, and then in a bracket, we need to mention that pin where we need to read the analog data. But in Blockzy software, we have a feature of a block code, which are we just need to pull this block and mention our pin where we need to read our analog signal. So in this block, read the value from the specific analog pin present on the particular Arduino board. The ADC, it means analog to digital converter on this Arduino board is a multi-channel converter. Yes. So when we need to convert our signal from analog to digital and digital to analog, the ADC on the Arduino board is multi-channel converter. So it maps the input voltage and the operating voltage between the value of a 0 and 1023. It means 1024 operating voltages. The way operating voltage can be vary between a 5 watt to 3.3 watt. The values from a 0 to 1023 are the integer values. We have to note this scenario. Set a servo pin 3 out 0. This block is used to rotate the servo motor from a 0 to 180 degrees. The servo motor is always connected with the PWM pin of the Arduino Uno board. As we know, the servo motor is not operate on a digital pin. We need to connect that servo motor either on a analog pin or on a servo pin or a PWM pin. So basically, whenever we connect our servo motor to a PWM pin, we can vary the speed of a servo motor. We can connect the servo motor pin to a digital pin, but whenever we connect it to our servo motor to a digital pin, then it will just operate on a 0 to 1. It means it will always operate on a or in a off condition or in a on condition. But if we need to control the speed of a servo motor, we need to connect the pin of a servo motor to our PWM pin. Here we can see that our servo motor pin is connected to a 3, and the value of pin number 3 is written by a 90. It means our servo motor will rotate on a 90-degree value. So yes, it is a very futuristic use of a PWM pin. Thank you so much.